SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, we now have some details on what AT&T is going to be doing with its copper. For those of you that don't know, AT&T's got a massive, legacy, outdated network of copper infrastructure, and it's no longer going to be utilized. They don't sell it actively anymore. People that have it are even losing it as AT&T shutters the service. Now, it's not going to be all good. There are going to be some troubles and some speed bumps here and there. But basically, this process is going to work through 2029, and now we have more details on what AT&T is going to be doing with all of the things connected to that network. So here's the first thing. The first and most important thing is AT&T has a $850 million valuation deal in this copper retirement process. What they're going to do is create a sale-leaseback deal for 74 of their central office facilities, which is where basically all the equipment are for that copper network for the DSL and such. And they're going to have this deal with a real estate developer known as Rain Capital. All right, this was mentioned on the earnings call earlier this week. Now, what this means for AT&T is that since they are no longer going to be operating or owning these central offices, and, you know, obviously it's very expensive to monitor, manage, maintain copper, anything they do out of those facilities is going to be icing on the cake, right? Because they weren't generating margins, revenue accretive value to the company, right? So the customers that are probably still going to utilize service are going to move over to fixed wireless access with Internet Air. If they don't right away, then eventually they will, or they're going to have to find a new provider. But you can clearly see how the company is going to be monetizing empty, vacated space that hasn't really any use for the future. And they're going to be utilizing this as a way to basically create real estate that has value. By the way, they're also going to be cutting down on power consumption because they're no longer operating a network through those COs. So we've kind of been monitoring this process of phasing out copper. Now we kind of know what's going on with those central offices and how they're going to be utilizing some of that monetization strategy. There is going to be a little bit of pushback, though. Obviously, there are going to have to be negotiations. Regulators, you got to get approval for these types of things because you can't just shut down facilities that may be servicing some really important things. All right, so AT&T is going to be working through that. I'm not saying it's not going to work out in the long run. I'm not saying it's going to be a problem that's going to be like a dead end. I don't think it's any of those things. I just know how these things go, and there's going to be some bumps along the way, and there's going to be some resistance as these services are retired. And you know how the regulators are. They're going to say, well, why the hell you got to do this right now? And, you got all these people connected, and why don't you get the fiber in there and all those things? But, look, I don't know what type of states are going to give them problems. All I know is that, I think about the Public Utilities Commission of California. That's going to be a pain in the ass. Because if I remember correctly, when I was doing the research on this, I'm pretty sure AT&T is the carrier of last resort in the state of California. I don't know if that's the case in any other state. I don't think that's the case. But if there is indeed other states like that, then those states are going to really push back on this. But this is all in all a win for AT&T. You could look at this as a loss for customers in a way. If they were replacing all this with fiber, then I'd say that's definitely a consumer win. But currently, this is all about cost savings. This is about trying to generate some revenue out of something that became basically a dinosaur. All right, but now that we know and we kind of understand the process, we can kind of move forward understanding what's going to be happening over the course of the next 4 years through 2029. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you're in California or if you're in a state where AT&T still has operational copper and what your take on all this is. I'm interested to read what you guys have to say on this. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like and share. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on the bell notifications icon, and we'll see you all on the next video.